Hey, we have a new tornado warning. Let's bring the radar full. This is important because we talked about Mount Olive that had a tornado earlier. Here's Mount Olive. A new tornado warning in your area. This is not the one we said was going to go south of you. That is still going south of you. A brand new circulation just developed. Matt, let's zoom in on that one. This thing just flared up. This is the environment we're in. All along the leading edge of this line of thunderstorms, we're going to get these little spin-ups, and sometimes they can last for a long time, like the one that hit Earth City. Now we have this near Wilsonville. It's basically headed towards Beneld, White City, and it may just be close to Mount Olive. Let's switch over to just the radar and see if I can get an inflow notch out of it. Not really. Well, here's Mount Olive. Here's Gillespie. This, I'm looking at the Doppler wind, so why don't we switch over to that and see if we can get a better look at it. It would be basically from Wilsonville to Gillespie and Mount Olive, and even there, it's kind of buried. But we're seeing a new circulation that has warranted the new tornado warning. It's really not showing up very obvious right there, but it is right around Gillespie. Zoom out for me a little bit, Matt. And what we'll do is we'll just kind of track that area right there. Well, there you go. There you go. Now I can see it. So it's a little more obvious. Takes me a while. There you go, Gillespie. And I mean, this is just a pattern where sometimes you get these little spin-ups and they're so quick and they're so tiny, it's difficult to pin them down. That's it right there. Let's take that off to the east. I'll try and get you a speed here, Matt. I don't know if you have that handy. If you don't, I can tell you it's moving northeast at 50.
50, okay, 50. There's your track right there.
Thank you, sir. Mount Olive in about a minute. That's why I think it's important, because I just got done saying in Mount Olive, strong winds coming your way, but the tornado is going to miss you to the south. That's this tornado missing you to the south. New circulation developing very close to Mount Olive, but also Litchfield in about 6 minutes, Walshville in about 8 minutes, Taylor Springs in about 16 minutes. Notice we tracked a large area. Like I said, anywhere along this line, you get these spin-ups, and so instead of just pinpointing that little area, we wanted to cover this little area too. So kind of 2 areas of rotation, tracking it across 55, showing you some of the cities in the path. Just thought it was vital to let the folks in Mount Olive know that you're not in the clear. This thing is headed your way. Any of those cities I just mentioned, from Litchfield to Mount Olive, Gillespie, need you inside, away from windows, down in the basement, lowest level. If you don't have a basement, that lowest level where you have an interior room, a closet, maybe a bathroom, you're trying to put as many walls between you and the outside, almost like building a fort with the walls between you and the debris that could be flying around outside. But as I look around here, this damage is just absolutely incredible. Roofs off the houses. And when I see these types of storms on radar, I like to track them from beginning to end. And in these types of tornadoes, the end means getting out here in the damage. And so we walked with the expert, James Cramper from the National Weather Service office, to get an idea of just how bad this tornado was here in Hazelwood. And actually, when we were surveying the damage, he upgraded the intensity to an EF2 here in Hazelwood.
See, there's more back there. All those trees back there, see the top, a lot of them snapped off.
Yeah.
So it definitely came right across there.
Is it just me, or is this not a clear-cut tornado situation? It may be a mix of both, or what are you saying?
Well, there was a lot of wind damage all through the area, but we do have a distinct path that started in Bridgeton, and I've been able to track it all the way through to this point now. And there is a nice line of earlier really light wind, tree damage mainly, but then as we get here, it's much heavier. So obviously the little circulation tornado was much stronger right into this area. That's a little interesting. I have no idea where that came from. I bet you that used to be a garage. Well, that would potentially make it EF2. That one would be EF2 probably.
The roof off that house?
Yeah. Large piece of the roof removed, wall standing. You can go either way. You can go weekend
EF2 or high end EF1.
You can go high 1 or weak 2.
It's interesting though that you kind of have this, like, not that your mind's made up, but you kind of have, this is where I'm at now, but boom, you find a different piece of evidence and it changes the whole picture.
Yeah. There's some scattered tree damage back there.
Does the size of these trees matter to you? I mean, the bigger they are, the more wind they're going to catch. Is it easier to uproot them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why we don't get that much excited over something like that.
It may look impressive.
A tree pushed over looks impressive, but it's not that hard to do. Now, you look up there and see where the tree snapped off.
Yes.
That's harder to do. The roots are in the ground, but then it snapped, it broke it off. So something hit it very quickly, very hard, snapped it off.
There's a lot of bad damage around that I saw today, but for comparison's sake, the Good Friday tornado, which by the way is only about 3 to 4 miles that way from where this damage path is in the Hazelwood area, but compare it around here, it's about 130 mile per hour winds estimated. The Good Friday tornado was up around 180, 185 miles at its peak. So not quite as bad as Good Friday. People's lives are certainly impacted by this at least EF2 tornado. Still snow coming down right now. And remember, this is one of those 1-2 punches of winter storms. Snow, then dangerous cold and dangerous wind chills. Let me take you outside right now downtown and show you how the snow, which is happening now, is looking downtown. And that's Market Street. It is covered. My drive in, the roads were covered in snow. It was really tough travel out there. Kind of had to drive in the tracks that are laid before you by the cars that have driven ahead of you. And even that kind of gets you swerving around. Let me take you up into Illinois, into Alton right now, and take a live look up there. You see that snow blowing off the roofs? We have snow falling and then snow blowing. This is one of those snows that's very powdery, blows around, drifts, especially rural areas. Want to be very careful with that tonight and tomorrow morning. The blowing and drifting snow, and of course the wind's going to cause those bad wind chills. And of course the roads are bad right now. Let's take a look from one of our MoDOT cameras. This is over at I-70 near the airport. Usually I look for a little bit of road. I don't even see that. I mean, it's just snow covered on a major interstate. And we did check in with Lambert, and we're looking at 9 ground delays out there. So definitely check in at the airport or with your airline carrier. There's going to be some major delays. Here's the deal. We're in about the 4th quarter right now of this snowstorm. There's still some pretty good snow falling. In fact, I'll highlight for you where the moderate to heavy snow is in between these yellow lines. So off to West County into St. Charles County, getting better. Getting into that gray area where it's a little lighter snow, but still snow falling. But we still have it come down at a pretty good clip downtown, where we've had anywhere from 7 to 10 inches or so. It's 7 inches out in Maryland Heights, 7.5 in St. Peters. Belleville to Mascoutah, about 9 to 9.5. How about Bourbon, Missouri, at about 10 inches of snow? Another inch to maybe 3 or 4 inches, especially for areas east of St. Louis, where that heavier snow is going to continue its march. But again, we're going to see this wind down this afternoon. This is a wind chill warning that's in effect across the entire area. Get this, not just for tonight through tomorrow morning, but all the way into noon on Tuesday. That means even Monday afternoon, Monday night and Tuesday morning, we're still dealing with wind chills at least around 20 below to possibly as cold as 35 below. That's that wind chill. It's what it feels like to exposed skin. So dangerous wind chills, dangerous conditions for about the next 38 hours or so. And that's the second punch of the storm. This was the first punch, the snow, 9.5 inches in Weldon Spring and St. Peters. 10.6 in St. Louis, but have highlighted the area of 12 to 14 inches. That's the winner, if you will, in the Metro East with the highest snowfall totals. Wood River and Belleville checking in at 14 inches. All this being blown around, too, because it's that fine, powdery snow. So blowing and drifting snow this evening into tomorrow morning going to be a big deal. 11 inches in Freeburg, all across the area. We've got a blanket of snow on the ground, and now comes the cold air. So all the snow is done. We're done with any kind of accumulating snow. That storm system pulls off to the east. But the secondary front really bringing in that big-time cold air, some of the coldest air that we've seen in more than a couple decades, actually. Temperature right now is at 6, so we're still above 0. But that wind chill is well below 0 at -15 in St. Louis. I see Belleville now checking at -18. That's the wind chill. Tomorrow, we're going to be dealing with temperatures below 0, and they may not get above 0 in the afternoon. That would be some of the coldest air we've seen since about the early 80s. This is a brutal stretch of cold air, and it's really just beginning. And those wind chills you see right there are only going to get worse by tomorrow morning. A lot of closures you see on the bottom of your screen, and of course, for good reason, not just because of the snow, the messy roads, but the brutal and quite frankly dangerous cold we'll be dealing with tomorrow. Katie, you mentioned those rivers and small creeks. Just got a flood warning that came across. This one for Jefferson County, Monroe County. Again, this is not flash flooding, but it's for those smaller creeks. In particular, a creek near Route P in Jefferson County has caused the closure of Route P. So we're going to be watching this closely. Let's head back outside to Sharon and Steve on the banks of the Mississippi.
Steve, is enjoy the weekend because it's going to be nice, but beyond that, all bets are off.
And you really want to soak it up because next week, I mean, it's almost like a taste of the type of cold you'll get in winter. Way below normal.
That cold.
Arctic outbreak. Yeah, it's coming our way next week. I'll show you how chilly, but hey, let's enjoy this while it lasts. It's going to be cranking up the heat tomorrow, near 90 degrees, near the record high tomorrow. Storm chances creep back into the forecast Wednesday into Thursday, and I'll pinpoint within that time frame where we might even see a strong, possibly severe storm. There's more storms in my forecast, and actually even a little better chance for some severe weather a little later in the 7-day forecast. I'll pinpoint the timing on that too. Don't have to worry about storms right now. This rain misses us. We're staying dry tonight. It's all about the comfortable temperatures. For all this talk of how it's going to heat up tomorrow, it's still very mild and comfortable now, very seasonable. 73 in St. Louis right now, 73 in Baldwin. High today was 74 degrees and low humidity. We will have that again tomorrow, but it starts off cool at 57 degrees and then all of a sudden warms quickly, 82 degrees by noon. Again, the high 90 degrees tomorrow. The record high is 91, set back in 1932. And